Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush.
Well, hello, everybody. Once again, we're really glad to have you here for our podcast, our weekly visit with you guys. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing fine, sir. It's actually the end of June. We went to go see a comedian on Friday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, if any of you ever have the opportunity to go see a guy named Ryan Hamilton, or he has a Showtime special, go see him. And if anybody's listening to this, if you have the opportunity to watch Orny Adams, Ornyadams, Orny Adams.
I'm glad you spelled that.
Yeah, I know. I'll get either love or hate mail, either one.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just free advice from your Uncle Howie and Mark. So
okay.
Yeah, no, it's very good. We laughed our collective butts off. So
yeah.
Good, solid humor, not trashy humor. So it's good. Anyway.
Excellent.
Okay, so all right. Last week we did staking your claim, claiming your market.
Yeah. We discussed the universe that you will live in for the rest of your career if you keep the same location. Right?
Right. I mean, or we may be talking to people with 5 offices. Each one of those offices has its own little universe.
Exactly.
Right. So it's like a kind of a circle. That's what we call when we build marketing plans. Yeah, I'll take a step back here. When we build marketing plans for brand new people who come to, they're not even clients yet. They're thinking about becoming a client. And I tell all the advisors that our primary responsibility when a brand new person comes in and we've built a marketing plan for them is to do everything we can with whatever budget they allow us to use to secure their core. And you can make an analogy out of exercise too, right? So the people who are listening to this that exercise, you do arms, you do legs. And if you don't do core, then your arms and legs might be strong, but your balance might be off.
Yeah,
right?
And your back might start hurting.
Your back might start hurting, or your front might start hurting, right? So,
exactly.
Or your sides, all right? So you always have to kind of, you have to give attention to your core. And from a dental office marketing standpoint, the core really is, that's what we're trying to claim. We're trying to say, these are mine. It's like the old medieval days where they would ride up on a horse with metal all over them, right? And they put their spear in the ground. This is mine, right?
Yeah, we claim this for England.
We claim this, right? We claim this on behalf of our sir client, right?
Yeah. So
when we do that, there are very specific strategies and how we do it, because we are almost always, actually, I'll just remove almost. We are always restricted by budget by our clients, right? No client ever comes to us and says, here you go, spend as much as you want, right? Yeah. That never happens, right?
We dream about it, but it doesn't happen.
It just never happens, right? So we always have this balance of budget restrictions, which is fine. We're used to it. And at the same time, securing the core of a market that we're very, very, very familiar with. We know the core of everyone listening. We know the core of everyone listening to this podcast. We know the core of your market. These are moms who will not choose the healthcare provider based primarily on a price incentive. That's the definition of everyone's core listening to this. Okay? The reason why we say that is because those are the humans in your core market that you want to claim before any other dentist claims them.
Yeah, they're the best. They're the top end of the market.
Right. They're not supermodels and CEOs. That's not what we're saying. Okay. They're not, recent divorcees with large settlements. Okay. That's not what they are. They're just regular old, mom, right? Just mom who just won't choose a healthcare provider for her family based primarily on a price incentive. And if you really think about that, phrase, you're probably going, well, it should be most moms, right? Most moms shouldn't choose a healthcare provider for their family based primarily on a price incentive. You ought to make a decision like that based on a little more information than a deal. And we agree with you. And what we're saying is, those are your moms. Okay, those are the core. That's what we're trying to claim. So
that's the profile of a great patient family.
Oh, and they build tremendous dental practices.
Yeah.
Right? Without roller skates on your feet, without a bunch of admin overhead, without a herky-jerky marketing budget, without all the things that tend to create stress for a dentist. Okay. Right. There's a million reasons why that's your core market. But for the most part, if you just want to look at this from a pure business standpoint, there's 11 times more ROI in that market segment than there is in the other half.
Yeah, that's called getting lots more out of your marketing dollar.
Right. So now they also have some downsides to them, right? And one of the downsides is it takes longer to attract them.
Yeah.
Right. You have to do it more consistently. Right. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It will happen. It just takes more to do it. Right. Not more money, just more time and more consistency.
Yeah. Persistence.
Persistence. Right. So anyway, let's get back to staking your claim, because over the years, if you're familiar with us and you're familiar with our teachings back in 05, 06, 07, maybe even the beginning of 08, you heard us talking about the core staples of a dental marketing plan being really three things: internal promotion, so that your patients always know the breadth and the scope of what you offer, so that they don't go to some other dentist for stuff that you do. Okay. And it's cheap and it's really easy to do. Right. So always internal, absolutely 100% website and mail. Those are the three staples, and they continue to be the three staples but now there's more staples. Like now we've added a few things to this mix, partially because they became available, partially because the consumer shifted, and partially because the business of dentistry shifted. Okay, so right now, those lines between the top and the bottom of the market are no longer faded. They're no longer cloaked. You can see who is promoting to the bottom, and you can see who is promoting to the top. Okay, and believe me, the market can see that as well, right? So let's go back to the core staples. The core staples have changed. We're still internet. We're still online, offline. You have to have an online and an offline presence, and you have to do internal. Internal, offline 95% of the time is the way we do mail, and obviously a website, because the mail is going to drive people to your website. If we do SEO to your website, that's going to drive people to your website. And if you end up doing Google AdWords or Facebook or social media or any of the other ways online that you can drive patients to your website, you're going to drive patients to your website. You have to have a website, right? You have to have internal. And we're still telling you that if you want to be like every other successful online property on the internet, you will use offline promotion to drive qualified local traffic to your website. In our case, in dentistry's case, that's not TV, it's not radio, it's mail.
Yeah, that's a mistake that we see often, right. And have for the last few years. Dentists think, some dentists mistakenly think, well, they're just going to get all their patients from the internet and not have to do anything to drive them there, to drive them to the website, but and that's just not true.
Right.
You have to be very active offline.
So let's add to the core staple list. We have internal, we have mail, we have a website. Let's add reputation. Let's add reviews and online reputation. I think that's become important enough to actually be able to interrupt offline and online promotion. And what I mean by interrupt, I mean, if you take the time to, let's say you invest in an AdWord campaign or a Facebook campaign, that person checks you out online and you have a Google review score of 4.2 and you have 13 reviews and the next office down in town has 137 and a Google review score of 4.9. Your online review and reputation could interrupt the efficacy or the effectiveness, the overall effectiveness of all your other marketing if you're not careful. So review and rep management has become a core staple. It's something that you don't have to spend a lot of money on it, but you do need to pay attention to it. It should be something that you care about. It should be something that you spend tiny bit of money on, or certainly a little bit of time on with your team, and that should solve the problem.
Yeah, and it's become very easy to manage that.
It's become ridiculously simple to manage that. Okay, so that's a staple now. That's no longer, we can skip it. Yeah, we can't skip it anymore because not everybody, but lots of dentists are waking up to the power of the review on a Google business page in the consumer's mind. Remember, consumers, and hopefully this isn't lost in the discussion, but armed without any additional information about your dental practice, purpose hesitation, dental consumers can make a decision about you. Well, let's look at a Google review. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 visual stars and a number. That's as personal as it gets at decision time for some consumers. Another reason why offline promotion works, because you're actually introducing information into their head rather than them making a decision based on 4 or 5 stars and a number. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, online review and rep is one of the core staples, and we're going to throw another one in here because honestly, we have seen, felt, enjoyed, and in some cases hugged the result. I'm going to say online scheduling is now a core.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Online scheduling integration with your practice management software is no longer something that you consider doing. It's something that you just put on your list and you do it. Okay. It's not, unless you have a website that the only people that see it are you, your staff, and your mom. Okay. Nobody ever visits it for any reason. Okay. And, you're not part of 6 Month Smiles, and you're not a part of any insurance companies. And, in other words, you don't have a Google business page. You don't have Facebook. You don't have any of this stuff. Okay. For you, you don't have to get online scheduling because it's not going to work.
Nobody's going to visit your website anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's
Why waste the money?
That's right. Don't waste the money. But for everyone else on earth, okay, that does have an internet presence, does have a social media presence, and does perhaps some offline promotion or other online promotion. I mean, we put those widgets right on the landing pages for our Google AdWord campaign clients. Okay, just imagine the better click-through rate and the better result you're going to get for the same ad dollar, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's just for new patients. We're not even calculating the benefit of having established patients, like overdue recare patients, being able to schedule online. Okay, we're just talking about new patients. So online scheduling now is a staple. It's not It's not something that you sit back and you say, okay, well, let's see how my friend Fred, how it works out for Fred. Okay. Yeah. There's 4,000 Freds already. Okay.
Yeah. It's worked out for all of us.
It's worked out just fine. And, now's the time. So by adding those staples, I think everybody's expectations should be, their bar should be raised slightly.
Great. We're going to take a short break here, Mark, then we're going to come back and talk some more about this subject. So don't go away.
Hey, Mark, how would our audience find out about getting more good reviews?
Well, first step is to understand it. There's minefields in the dental business right now. So let me give you the 4 keys. 1, has to be simple for your staff. They can actually call in sick and it'll still work. 2, it has to be ridiculously simple for your patients to leave Google reviews. 3, it has to be able to separate out the not so good reviews from the great reviews and only send the great reviewers over to your Google, Facebook, or Yelp. And 4, and this is probably the most important, only send reviews to platforms where your reviews cannot be taken away. If anybody has any questions about this, it's called NPI Crusader. You can just send Howie and I an email, or actually you can log on to newpatientsinc.com and you can schedule your very own appointment to see it in an online meeting that usually takes 15 to 20 minutes. So most people do it over a lunchtime.
All right, we are back. We're talking about the core staples of your dental practice, and
the marketing strategy. The core staples of an overall marketing strategy are internal, offline and online. Online being a website, offline in most markets being mail, or at least the way we do mail, and review rep management and online scheduling. Now, those are the core staples. So if you've been investing in marketing your practice for years and you don't have one of those 5 or 2 of them, get them. Those are the next 2 that you invest in. Okay. Or next 3 or whatever you don't have, invest in it, because that's where your money will be best spent. That's what core staple means. Because when you're going out to stake your claim, doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't, like we used an analogy in part 1, the gold rush, right? You're a miner and you're looking for gold and you're running around in little creeks and little holes in the rock and you're panning and you're trying to stake your claim. And in this case, these are the tools. The first 5 tools are internal promotion, external online, external offline, review rep, online scheduling. So that's the order in which you apply your budget. Now, we recently went through a recession, and I hope this puts it into perspective for everyone listening to this when we talk about staking your claim and sticking to your staples. So we got a little story to tell you, and this is a real story. This is a true story. Actually, it's a true story times 100s. But back in March of 2008, we recognized what was coming, and we moved. Well, over time, over that year, we moved all of our clients, whatever they were in, whether they were internet department or in mail or in print or whatever they were in, we anywhere from slightly to radically changed the message from what they were promoting to promoting the core staples of dentistry as they were at that time. The core staples of dentistry, this is where we go from core staples of a marketing plan to the core staples of dentistry. The core staples of dentistry always has been family dentistry. But back in 2008, Howie, how many of our clients were doing quote unquote cosmetic dentistry?
Well, yeah, too many.
All of them, right? All of our clients, right? Right? They were fat and happy, man. It was woohoo! It was the wild, wild west. Everybody was going nuts, right?
Yeah, and then the sheriff left town or something.
yeah. And then all of a sudden,
guys moved in.
Yeah, all of a sudden the recession hit. And none of the consumers wanted to buy cosmetic dentistry anymore. Amazing how that works, right?
Well, it's not that they didn't want to so much, it's that what happened to my house money? Our equity on our house. What happened to all the stuff we could count on?
Yeah, I can't pay off my credit card this month like I did last month with my home equity, right? So, so that's what happened. I know everybody listening to this thought it was your incredible treatment plan discussions. But it wasn't. Well, partially it was. Let's go there. Let's just say it was half and half, unlimited supply of money and your treatment plan recommendation. So anyway, so what happened was after March of 2008, we moved all of our clients into the core staples of dentistry. This is different than the core staples of your marketing plan. Core staples of dentistry is family dentistry. And this absolutely pertains to claiming your market. This is staking your claim part 2. Let's not lose sight of what we're discussing here. The reason why we're bringing this up is because the further away you move from the core staples of dentistry, which is family dentistry, right? The further away from really staking your claim, you're moving away from that objective. Now, let's add a piece to this called time. So if you're in your first or second year of promoting your practice properly, you don't want to move hardly any money outside of family dentistry. You're still claiming your core. You might not even be halfway there yet, okay? You shouldn't be spending any money on a niche like implants. You may mention implants in your website, mail, whatever you're promoting. You can mention them. That's one of the 8 or 9 reasons to choose you. It's a great reason to choose you. But you wouldn't really focus a percentage of your marketing budget on just 1 or 2 aspects of the work that you do. Not yet. You need a good, solid, you need 18, 19, 20 good quality new patients a month per GP, per 32-hour GP hours in your office a month before you can, say, all right, I'm going to get fancy. I'm going to start to promote, Invisalign, sleep apnea, 6-month smiles, you name it, sedation, implants, whatever you feel at that point in your career would be a really cool thing to expand. You don't ever really want to do that until you've staked your claim. You've solidified your core. You're getting those 17, 18, 19, 20 really good new family patients a month. Then on top of that, if there's room left over in the budget, well, then you can get fancy. Right? And there's all kinds of different ways you can get fancy. You can get fancy on Facebook. You can get fancy on Google AdWords. You can get fancy. We do senior mailers. Oh my God, most of the people who call us about implants, we don't even really do anything specific, singular to implants. We talk about adult dentistry. And within that just happens to be that implants are integral to almost everything there. Okay. So,
right.
Anyway, here's the point. When you're staking your claim, your budget, when you're initially staking your claim, maybe when I say initially, let's say in an average market for the first 3 to 4 years, when you're still staking your claim. Okay. I know it's upsetting that everyone doesn't take immediate action on what you present to them. Okay. But that's what it takes to really say, okay, this part of this dental market is mine. I stake this claim. These people are now familiar with me. They're familiar with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reasons to choose me. Their perception the perception of my office in their mind is that I'm not the cheap dentist in town. I'm the good dentist in town, even though they may not even be my patient. That's the perception in their mind about my dental practice. That could take you easily 3, 4, maybe even 5 years in an average market. Don't Don't do anything outside of family dentistry until you've done that.
Now you can obviously introduce these niche type services to your patient base.
Oh yeah. That's internal.
That's how you build that market.
Right. Yeah. Back in we got the question all the time. In the old days, I want to get more cosmetic patients. Yeah, you and every other dentist in America. And it was always a fight. It was always this long discussion we had to have with dentists to say, well, geez, Bob, think about the last 3 or 4 big cosmetic cases you did. And Bob would think. He'd say, okay, I got them in my mind. And we would always say to them, when were they new patients? Were they new patients a week before they became a big case, or were they patients of yours for 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 years?
Yeah.
Right. And it was always the latter. It was always, oh no, they started out as family patients.
Right.
And then all of a sudden in their mind, it clicks. And they say, oh, you mean you build an implant practice from a family practice?
Yeah, it's a progression. Yeah,
you do. Yeah, right. You build a cosmetic practice from a family practice? And you go, yeah, you do. You know? What do you like about your smile? What do you dislike about your smile? It's 2 really easy questions to ask every patient that you see, no matter why they came in. Everybody knows why they initially came in. It's because they can't feel the gaps between their teeth and they want their teeth cleaned again. They don't know anything else besides that. It's your job to tell them. And then ask them every year after that. So anyway.
There you go.
Staking your claim, part 2, the core staples of a marketing plan and the core staples of dentistry. Now we have part 3 coming next week.
Yes. So be sure and tune in for that. But for now, we're very happy that you're out there in our audience. We appreciate it very much, and come back again next time. Bye now.
We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.